Great. Good morning. Welcome to a regular meeting of a panel of utility commissioners and staff of the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority held today, Wednesday, January 10th, 2024, by remote teleconference. My name is Chairman Marissa Gillette. I'm joined virtually today by my colleagues, the Vice Chairman Jack Pekoski and Commissioner Michael Karen. We have a regular calendar in front of us today. So we'll turn first to that regular calendar on which there are 4 items. The first is docket number 230139. REO1, PURA's consideration of a civil penalty and enforcement action against the Connecticut Light and Power Company doing business as Eversource Energy following the investigation of an accident. We have Authority Attorney Kate Keenan here to present the decision for the panel's consideration, please.
Good morning, Chairman Gillette, Vice Chairman Pekoski, and Commissioner Karen. As a result of the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority's findings, in its August 9th, 2023 decision in docket number 230139, investigation into the response of the Connecticut Light and Power DBA Eversource Energy to the accident on January 17th, 2023 at 602 Greenwoods Road, Norfolk, CT, and in accordance with General Statute Section 16-16 and 16-41, the authority issued a notice of violation and assessment of civil penalty, or NOV, against the Connecticut Light and Power Company, DBA Eversource Energy, for violations of Title 16 of the General Statutes of Connecticut in orders or regulations adopted by the authority. Eversource subsequently requested a hearing and submitted pre-filed testimony and exhibits. The authority held a notice to public hearing. At the hearing, Eversource had the opportunity to present additional direct testimony and exhibits to contest the allegations in the NOV. The authority finds substantial evidence that Eversource violated General Statute Section 16-16 and Section 16-16-3 of the regulations of Connecticut state agencies. Specifically, the authority finds that Eversource violated General Statute Section 16-16 and subsection A of Section 16-16-3 of the regulations of Connecticut state agencies by failing to timely submit the immediate and 5-day accident reports. In addition, the authority finds that Eversource violated General Statute Section 16-16 and subsection E of Section 16-16-3 of the regulations of Connecticut state agencies by failing to include the requisite information or otherwise leaving relevant fields blank in both the immediate and 5-day accident reports, despite having responsive information at the time the company completed the reports. Consequently, the authority fines Eversource $12,500. Authority staff recommend adoption of the decision to the panel. Thank you for your consideration.
Attorney Keenan, is there a motion?
I'll move adoption.
Second.
Thank you. The decision has been regularly moved and seconded. Are there any comments before we vote? If not, Mr. Bumpin, please take the roll.
Chairman Gillette,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Pekoski,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen.
Yes.
Thank you. The decision has been adopted. The second item on today's agenda is docket number 230125, the application of Selco Partnership doing business as Verizon Wireless for approval of a construction plan to install wireless facilities within certain public rights of way in Avon. Attorney Church, please.
Good morning. This decision addresses Selco Partnership DBA Verizon Wireless's request for the authority's approval of its construction plan to install a small cell wireless telecommunications facility on a utility pole within the public right-of-way adjacent to 550 Lovely Street in Avon, Connecticut. Construction of the proposed facility was opposed by Mr. Venkatachari, an owner of 550 Lovely Street. Verizon identified a need for additional coverage and capacity relief in the vicinity of 550 Lovely Street and proposed the installation of the facility to fill this coverage gap. Mr. Venkatachari objected and alleged a lack of need for the proposed facility, a failure to examine alternative locations, that the facility, if built, would be a threat to public safety, and on the basis of the radio frequency emissions produced by the small cell facility. The authority examined the application and each of the objections carefully. Following discovery, a hearing, and a late filed exhibit hearing, the authority determined that the company demonstrated compliance with authority decisions, state and federal laws. Therefore, the application to construct the facility at the proposed location should be approved, subject to the orders in this decision, which include things such as testing and filing requirements post-construction. For these reasons, authority staff recommends adoption of the decision to the panel. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Attorney Church. Is there a motion?
I move adoption.
And I would second.
Thank you. The decision has been regularly moved and seconded. Are there any questions are there any comments before we take the roll? If not, Mr. Bumpkin, please.
Chairman Gillette,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Pekoski,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen,
Yes.
Thank you. The decision has been adopted. We'll turn to the third item on today's agenda, docket number 230816. The application of the Connecticut Water Company to dispose of approximately 16.1 acres of real property located south of Mulberry Reservoir in the borough of Knockshott. Mr. Graylish, please.
Yes, thank you, Chairman, and good morning, everyone. Yes, the Connecticut Water Company intends to sell 16.1 acres of Class 3 unimproved land located in the borough of Naugatuck, Connecticut, to Naugatuck for public use, including up to 15% for ball fields and conservation of the remainder of the property as open space for passive recreation. The authority finds that the property is neither an essential part of the franchise nor necessary and useful in Connecticut Water Company's performance of its duty to the public. The proceeds of the sale are subject to Connecticut General Statute 1643, Section E. Consequently, the authority approves 85% allocation of the benefits from the sale of the property to go to shareholders and 15% of the allocation to ratepayers in accordance to Connecticut General Statute 1643, paragraph E, section to create a regulatory liability for the portion of the economic benefits allocated to ratepayers and return it to ratepayers in the company's ongoing rate case docket 230832. The company typically returns the portion of economic benefits allocated to ratepayers as a ratepayer contribution of utility plant. However, in this situation, it proposes a return to the ratepayers in docket 230832 because the amount is de minimis. However, the authority staff is recommending denial of the company's request to include as a regulatory liability in docket 230832. Rather, authority staff is recommending the company include economic benefits allocated to ratepayers and ratepayer contribution of utility plant to remain consistent with historical treatment of similar transactions. Thank you for your
Thank you, Mr. Graylish. Is there a motion?
I move adoption.
And second.
Thank you. The decision has been regularly moved and seconded. Are there any comments before we vote? Mr. Bumpkin, please.
Chairman Gillette,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Pekoski,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen,
Yes.
Thank you. The decision has been adopted. The fourth and final item on today's agenda is docket number 231116. Also an application by the Connecticut Water Company, this time for approval of the issuance of up to $25 million of unsecured notes. We have Mr. Cadwalader from the authority staff to present the decision, please.
Good morning, Chairman, Vice Chairman, and Commissioner Karen. On November 14th, 2023, the Connecticut Water Company submitted an application pursuant to Congen Stat Section 1643 paren B and Con Agency Regs Sections 16.146 and 1643.1 and following regulations requesting authority approval to issue debt in an aggregate amount of not to exceed $25 million in a single sale private placement transaction, which is exempt from registration under the Securities Act of 1933. There is no requirement under Congen Stat 1643 for a hearing in this matter, and no participant requested one. The company intends to issue and sell notes on or before January 31st, 2024, subject to the terms of a note purchase agreement between the company and the purchasers in a single sale private placement transaction, which is exempt from registration under the Securities Act of 1933. Under the agreement, the notes will be callable in whole or in part, subject to a make-whole amount payment, and will have a bullet payment of the full principal amount due at maturity unless they are prepaid in whole or in part prior to maturity. Additionally, the notes have a total coupon rate of 6.46%, which is based on the 5.01% 30-year Treasury rate as of October 31st, 2023, plus 145 basis point spread. The company seeks authority permission to amortize associated issuance expenses over the life of the issue, and the authorization period will begin from the date the authority approves the transaction through January 31st, 2024. The company's proposed use of the debt is consistent with Congen Stat Section 1643(b) because the debt is for purposes other than paying expenses in the ordinary course of business or for the payment of dividends. The company intends to use the $25 million to fund capital expenditures associated with its ongoing construction program, to pay down short-term debt, and for general corporate purposes. Specifically, the proceeds from the proposed financing will be used to pay down existing intercompany borrowing. These intercompany borrowings fund capital expenditures on a short-term basis between larger, more permanent financings, such as the one being requested here. In evaluating a proposed debt issuance, the authority considers several factors, including transaction fees, terms and conditions of the debt issuance, the coupon rate and effective yield, and the overall financial impact on the company. In its thorough review, the authority did not identify any onerous fees or transaction costs associated with the borrowing. Additionally, the terms and conditions and coupon rate were consistent with prevailing market rates. The authority also concluded that the transaction is not anticipated to have an adverse impact on the company's financial flexibility as measured by its solvency ratios and credit rating. The company is presently rated A- by S&P. The company expects its credit rating to remain the same after the proposed issuance of long-term debt. Based upon the authority's review of the transaction, I recommend the decision be adopted by the panel.
Thank you, Mr. Cadwalder. Is there a motion?
I move adoption.
Second motion.
Thank you. The decision has been regularly moved and seconded. Are there any comments before you vote? Not, Mr. Bumpin.
Chairman Gillette,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Pekoski,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen,
Yes.
Thank you. The decision has been adopted. That brings us to the end of today's regular meeting agenda. We will adjourn and reconvene next Wednesday, January 17th at 10 a.m. by remote teleconference.